All right, y'all. I apologize for any of that. I just need to get a mic check because the bottom line is that this ain't working out at all like I thought it was going to work. I'm waiting. Was it muted the whole time? Fancy Nancy? Can y'all hear me all right? I apologize. For a while now, before I got the microphones, it wasn't sounding right, so I thought I had it taken great. I appreciate y'all's understanding of this. The only reason that I tried to do this was so that y'all could understand me better, because it felt like it was just, it was what it was. But was it from the very beginning of my whole demonstration here? Am I going to have to do this again? Is this a simulation? Is this what this is? Is it a simulation, y'all? Can y'all hear it? Could y'all hear it from the very beginning? Almost the whole beginning, you couldn't hear it at all? Maybe 1 minute in, says Fancy Nancy. Okay, y'all. So y'all did hear the music, right? Did y'all hear the music? When you started reading after the song says the Bethy Boop. Okay. Well, let me get to that then. Y'all did hear the music, though. Everyone put a 1 in the comment if you heard the music. Okay, there you go, Mark. What I wanted to say about that. Okay, I apologize, y'all. Here we go. Y'all know me, okay? Y'all know my ass is doing the best I know how. I'm trying to get a little justice through understanding here. Okay. So we heard this song, right? And y'all let me know in the comments if y'all can't hear me, all right, as we move forward. And again, I apologize because y'all deserve the best. And I ain't the best, but I'm just trying here. But that song was pretty, out there. Did KJ like that song? I don't know, but what that guy was screaming was, I wish that my dreams didn't give this garden thorns. And if I thought anything different could exist, I'd carve it into the walls of my skull 1,000,000 times until I went blind inside. And some people are like, okay, what does that mean, KJ? Well, it means what it means to whoever was singing it, but also could it mean something to you? Did this singer here for Algae Bloom, the song is titled Thorns. When he says he'd carve it into the walls of his skull, do you think that that's what he really wanted to do? I don't think so. I think it was symbolic. But really what it comes down to, y'all, what it really comes down to is simulation. Is KJ simulating anything? Well, we're going to find out because we've already talked about manipulation, exploitation. We've talked about alienation. We've talked about solicitation. We're going to talk about simulation. All right? And let's just read a quote here. Focus your attention deliberately and solely on the things you want to see in your world. Turn away from everything else. Close your eyes and ears to it all. Evil will never disappear from reality altogether, but it can vanish from your layer of the world. You will simply stop encountering the negativity. And it's really your choice, is it not? It's your choice on what you want to see in your life. It's what you want to think, like that song, right? For instance, that song. Was it like, oh my God, why is she listening to that? You can't even understand what that guy's saying. But again, you could have took it negatively. You could have took it positively. Now, KJ sat here and I had my praline pecans. Was I simulating that I enjoyed it? No, I wasn't. Because simulation is got two meanings. One is you're pretending or deception, okay? And pretending doesn't necessarily mean that you're doing something negative. But deception really is, I see nothing positive about deception whatsoever. And the opposite of simulation, and the reason I bring this to you is because we're fixing to update on the Angelia Solomon case, is the opposite of simulation is, in everyday language, reality. That's the opposite of simulation. The state of things as they actually exist, y'all. And in philosophy, if you want to have the opposite of simulation, it's actual. It's something that exists in fact rather than a representation. Now, Chris says they are putting AI into everything and I'm worried. Well, you know, they've got simulations where you put these goggles on. AI is trying to tell everyone how they feel and all this and that. OKJ does not go AI mode ever. I do my research analysis and I do it the old school way. Whether through books, and yes, I look things up, but I make sure that they are reputable sources, peer review articles and such. And Chris says they are even putting AI into music. This is life in 2025. Music is listening to you. Well, you know, it goes back to what I just said, y'all. Focus your attention deliberately and solely on things you want to see in your world. If you want to see whatever you want to see, that's your deal. That's your, you do whatever you do. Turn away from everything else other than what you want to see in this world. Because ultimately, y'all, if you're not looking through your own eyes at things, I mean, I'm talking literal. I'm not talking about all these dang pictures online of all these beautiful women where they're all touched up, not a wrinkle on their face, and perhaps in real life, they don't have the wrinkles or they don't have the discoloration or anything. Folks, reality is your everyday living. When you get up out of bed, through your day, whether you work, whatever you're doing, it is a knockdown, drag out thing for old KJ. I don't know about you. I don't know what you see. But your eyes, you just better hear me right now. Your eyes are the mirror to the soul, and you better just deal with it. And again, that's old KJ and my reality. What's yours, huh? But let's get to a case update of Angelia Solomon. We are going to talk about simulation. Why? Because the Middle Tennessee woman, Angelia Solomon, accused of plotting to kill her ex-husband, is facing a new felony indictment, y'all. This month, a grand jury indicted Angelia Solomon on one charge of felony criminal simulation and one charge of misdemeanor theft under $1,000. This comes after Solomon was arrested earlier this year for trying to, get with that undercover TBI agent to try to take out Erin Solomon. She's charged with solicitation to commit first-degree murder. Now, the Williamson County Circuit Court records say that Solomon was indicted on December 3rd for allegedly conspiring with Melanie Lisa Hicks to defraud the Franklin nonprofit Graceworks in March of this year. Now let's stop there. First of all, remember, it was April 11th of this year. A month later, this is, a month later, April 11th, that she tried to hire this hitman. A month before, in March, she defrauded, allegedly, this nonprofit Graceworks. Now, this other woman, Hicks, was indicted on the same charges as Solomon. The indictment says their alleged crimes occurred between March 7th and 11th of 2025, saying the pair did make or alter a document in whole or in part so that it appeared to have value because of age, antiquity, rarity, source or age, or authorship that it does not have. And this is where I need the Rays and some others, but specifically the Rays, to kind of give me some ideas of what you think that is, because they never specified. Now, the duo is also accused in the indictment of unlawfully taking $1,000 or less from Graceworks without the owner's effective consent and with the intent to deprive the owner thereof. The nonprofit website, Graceworks, is a faith-based group. It's an organization aiming to help struggling Williamson County residents find food, shelter, and support. Solomon pleaded not guilty in July to solicitation for first-degree murder. She's on home confinement. She can't get online. She can't have a phone or anything like that. She's got all these restrictions. She's got an ankle monitor, the whole 9 yards. She got out on $250,000 bond, which was originally $500,000. She's been out at home there after being delayed. All right, y'all. She has another plea hearing scheduled for January 13th per court records. Now, when I got with y'all last time, I called the Franklin County Courthouse the day before the 12th, because that's when the Tennessean said she was supposed to go in there. And there was some idea of, is she going to take a plea agreement? Her attorney came out to the Tennessean and said, well, no, we need a review hearing. And I hypothesized that maybe he just needed more time for leverage to get a good plea agreement and all that. Well, here we go, y'all. She's been charged with 2 more counts of, what she's being charged with. And what's interesting about it is it must have been last minute. And I apologize, y'all. I had all my paperwork over here. I got sidetracked, but here we are, y'all, trying like an everyday person. No simulation whatsoever. No pretending. No deception. OKJ is trying to get justice through understanding. What is criminal simulation? There are many different things. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different things that could be criminal simulation in the state of Tennessee, and I'm going down the list. The first one is counterfeit currency, creating fake money. I don't believe that 1 second. I don't think Angelia Solomon and this ex-woman created fake money. So let's go to the next thing. Aging furniture or documents to make them appear antique or rare to sell them for a higher price. That's a possibility, but I don't know what it is. We're going to find out. Falsifying, retouching, editing, or reproducing photographs, films, or sound recordings to deceive viewers or listeners about their origin or content. And y'all, this is me thinking Graceworks, okay? This is a nonprofit that feeds people in that county. Well, it doesn't make sense that they sold Graceworks photographs, films, or sound recordings. So I don't think that's out. I think that's out altogether, excuse me. Creating fake labels, stamps, or caps for alcoholic beverage bottles. I don't think that is a consideration. Y'all know now Brian Walsh was convicted of murdering his wife. His federal case involved what? He sold fake Van Goghs. That is criminal simulation, all right? So I don't think at all that that's what it is. Selling an object known to be fake without claiming, while claiming it is genuine, that's a possibility. But I'm still thinking, why would Angelia Solomon and Hicks try to sell something to a nonprofit that was fake? And finally, using or possessing machinery specifically designed to create fake credit or debit cards. I don't think that's the case either. The bottom line is the key element in these scenarios is the intent to defraud someone by misrepresenting an object's value, source, or authenticity. And again, was this just something they got in with this nonprofit and they knew them personally and tried to pass something off these two women? I don't know. I don't know at all. Sam Willis says, what idiot would go buy an unverified Van Gogh? Exactly. These people. Kathy Mama Bear, thanks again. I apologize again to y'all that I honestly, these new mics, they just, I thought that I had it going on there, but I don't. Mark McGarry says, so I would think false Bitcoin. Now, just remember this, y'all. Along with the criminal simulation one count for each of these women, there's also a misdemeanor theft of under $1,000. This was a month before she tried to hire the hitman to kill Aaron Solomon. And folks, again, y'all, she talks more about Gracie's trust fund to this undercover agent than she does about all these terrible things that Aaron Solomon did. But it says in Tennessee, theft of property valued at $1,000 or less is generally a Class A misdemeanor, punishable up to 11 months and 29 days in jail, and a fine up to $2,500 with restitution often ordered. But the important consideration about it is criminal record. A conviction creates a permanent record affecting jobs, housing, and education, but it also, Angelia Solomon has never been convicted of any other crime. She's never been in any kind of trouble. Yes, she's facing solicitation to commit first-degree murder, and now that I've really had time to think about it, she's probably going to plead out. But also another important consideration on this this theft of property under $1,000 is first-time offenders might qualify for diversion programs, community service classes to get charges dismissed and expunged, says, you know, most legal experts. So the bottom line is that the misdemeanor isn't the big deal. It's the criminal simulation. And really, if you think about it, y'all, she does not need this right now. She does not need it. She is facing solicitation to commit first-degree murder. In my opinion, it's a slam dunk case. And I just think she's gonna have to put it all together, I guess. I guess at the January 12th hearing, they're probably going to add it all together. But anyway, the criminal simulation count 1 from the state of Tennessee, Williamson County Circuit Court says the grand jurors from Williamson County, Tennessee, duly impaneled and sworn upon their oath, present that Angelia Solomon, between March 7th of 2025 and March 11th of 2025, before the finding of this presentment in said county and state did unlawfully, feloniously, and with intent to defraud or harm another, To wit, Graceworks did make or alter a document in whole or in part so that it appeared to have value because of age, antiquity, rarity, source or age, or authorship that it does not have, in violation of Tennessee Code Annotated 39-14-115, a Class E felony, and against the peace and dignity of the state of Tennessee. The grand jurors for Williamson County, also duly impaneled, said that Angelia Solomon, before the finding of this presentment in said county and state, did unlawfully, unknowingly obtain and exercise control over property. To wit, what did she knowingly obtain and exercise control over property? To wit, U.S. currency of the value of $1,000 or less belonging to Graceworks, which is the nonprofit, said property being taken without the owner's effective consent and with the intent to deprive the owner thereof in violation of the Tennessee Code. It's a Class A misdemeanor and against the peace and dignity of the state of Tennessee. So she's got that right there hanging out all over the place. So let's get back to simulation. Let's get back to it because we're going to learn something. We are going to get justice through understanding. Get it all together, y'all. In Tennessee, criminal simulation involves creating or altering an object to make it seem more valuable. And I could go down, we just talked about it. But the key aspects of Tennessee criminal simulation is intent, requires the intent to defraud or cause harm. And here's some examples, y'all. Faking antique furniture, counterfeit designer goods, or altering collectibles to sell for more than they're worth. And when I hear that, I think, okay, the month before she tried to hire this hitman, her and this Hicks woman are trying to get some money here. What's the money for? Is the money for her to pay her bills? Is it to get it together so she can hire this hitman? Who knows? Related offenses also covers counterfeiting financial instruments like credit cards and using fake academic documents. But it's different than forgery, y'all. And the reason that it's different from forgery, which is a totally different statute, that criminal simulation focuses on altering objects to fake their origin, age, or value, but forgery focuses on altering writing documents, checks, or contracts. In essence, if you're faking a signature on a check, it's forgery. If you're faking a valuable antique painting, it's criminal simulation. So she obviously did something underhanded, allegedly. She tried to sell something. Was the under $1,000 what they got for it, or is that a separate thing? We're going to find out one way or the other. What I didn't know when I read the charge and I was trying to figure out, and I didn't really read it in there, it was some form of document that was supposed to be worth a lot of money. So we will find out what that is. Back to simulation. There's two definitions of it. One is pretending and one is deception. Well, I guess the question really comes down to how much pretending and how much deception does it take Angelia Solomon to get her daughter to go out here and tell everyone that her father molested her and did all these terrible things. And Angelia Solomon in the wiretap of the hitman's talking about how Grant was murdered and all of this stuff. Is she pretending or is she being deceptive? Well, deception is the act of deliberately misleading someone, making them believe something false through lies, half-truths, actions, or omissions, often for personal gain or advantage. It's broader than just lying, encompassing various tactics like manipulation, propaganda, or even creating false impressions, and involves... I just don't think, y'all, this is going to work for me tonight. I honestly wanted to come to y'all about this criminal simulation. Excuse me for a minute. Okay, so anyway, I wanted to talk to you about criminal simulation, but it's obvious that it's not going to work for me tonight. But anyway, let's get back to it. Intentionality is part of deception. Stop it. The key is the intent to mislead. Unintentional mistakes aren't deception. Also, the methods can involve direct lies, partial truths, withholding information, creating false beliefs, or subtle actions. The purpose of deception is common reasons include personal gain, avoiding punishment, boosting self-esteem, or protecting feelings. And the forms of manipulation include verbal falsehoods, strategic omissions, propaganda, and elaborate hoaxes or scams. But in a legal context, y'all, in law, it's defined as knowingly creating a false impression leading to concepts like fraud or unfair trade practices. So it seems to me that in terms of criminal simulation, if you're looking at pretending or deception, Angelia Solomon is faking a lot of stuff, but at the same time, she's being very deceptive. Yes, Mark McGarry. This dog here, if I put him down on the floor, he's going to start barking because we've got someone at the end of the road here going down through here right now. And everyone that comes to down KJ's road, Opie stands up on his hind legs and barks out the window every damn time. And he's one hell of a watchdog, isn't he? Give me a kiss. I want a kiss. Can I have a kiss? No, you're mad at me too. Are you mad at me? Give me a kiss. No. No. He's mad at me, y'all. He's mad at me. So, what's the difference between deception and lying, y'all? Lying is a straightforward form of deception, saying something known to be false. Deception is the umbrella term, with lying being one specific type alongside another strategic a strategy like misrepresentation or concealment. In essence, deception is about creating a false reality, y'all, for someone else, whether through words or deeds, so they accept it as truth. And y'all, these are my opinions, these are my views. It hurts me to say it, but I'm going to say it right here. Angelia Solomon created a deception with her daughter. If she really believed that there was sodomy going on or rape or any damn thing else with her children, she'd have brought this shit out years ago. How does it happen that it's only till the divorce happens that she starts talking this shit? And y'all know me. I'm willing to believe any survivor of any kind of abuse. But this woman absolutely called it all off in 2015. If I was a mother and I truly believed it and I started talking about it in 2013, why would I call it all off in 2015 and not do anything else about it? Give me a break, y'all. I would have done everything and anything. And this whole notion that Angelia Solomon felt at her wit's end. She felt, and all this was real, the reality. She was raped and drugged, and her child and her son was murdered, and all this stuff. And nobody else. It's all a big freaking cover-up. That's what it is. It's all a big cover-up. What is a person's reality? What does someone want to believe? Is someone believing in reality, or are they believing in simulation? We're not talking about criminal simulation. We're talking about to simulate, to pretend. Do we walk through our everydays and simulate our life? I don't think that the Rays and others on here, along with OKJ, would ever pretend in our lives. I think we live life to the best of our ability. And someone else's reality might not be our reality. And maybe she's convinced herself of this. Maybe her daughter has convinced herself of everything. And that's so unfortunate, because there is a truth. There is reality. And, you know, when you see these charges, whether one's a felony and one's a misdemeanor that involves simulation, deception, theft, and all of that, you can't, I mean, even if you knew nothing about it and you wanted to give this woman the benefit of the doubt, she was at her wit's end and decided to try to hire someone to take out the man that was the evil spawn of Satan or whatever. Why is this other stuff that has been charged having to do with deception, theft, things that people can't trust? You know, you can't just charge something without the goods, or at least a good case anyway. Just Me says if the mother believed it, she would have stopped it before. Fancy Nancy says most people will believe this shit. You know, and that goes back to what I was telling y'all. That you've got to be able to shut out the negativity, the lies, the pretending, the deceptions of this world. Because I feel like deep in my heart, every human being can see the reality. It's whether or not they want to face it or not. You know, whether it's better for them to pretend that their life is different, or it's everyone else's fault, or they're the good, that I like, say for instance, I'm KJ, I'm the good guy and everyone else is the bad guy. You know what I'm saying? Just an example. The bottom line is that Angelia Solomon has 2 more charges on her, and we have found out that January 12th will be her next court date. I feel like that criminal simulation is something that I didn't know much about. I'm going to be interested to know how all that pans out. But then again, if she pleads out on the 12th of January, will we really ever know what it really was that her and this Hicks woman tried to pass off as a forgery or whatever it was? And Canyon Jam, you're right. They should teach this stuff in 10th grade. It's true, y'all. You've got to be, just as this Chris guy and people that have talked in the past, you got all this virtual reality, AI, and all of this stuff. The most powerful thing in this life in terms of reality is your own thoughts and feelings. Your own reality. And if you choose to believe life the way it is, that's your life. No one has a right to tell you you've got to think one way or the other. But just remember this, even OKJ, I've been guilty of thinking the wrong way and not seeing things clearly. These eyes have been blinded plenty of times and will probably be blinded down the road. But I try every single day to look at things realistically. And I know it's not always entertaining or stimulating or anything to look at life, getting up out of bed having to sweep the floor with your, your broom and your dustpan, and having to get the stains out of your clothes and do all these things that are just normal everyday things. Because I'll tell you what, when it comes to media, they want it all to be like it's all about some glamorous shit out here. And if you ain't living some kind of glamorous life or whatever, that somehow you're missing out, or you're beneath what other people get to experience, they can kiss my country ass. The bottom line is Angelia Solomon has included, I'm assuming, one of her friends, Hicks, and her daughter in being deceptive. And those are my views. Aaron Solomon is not a child molester. He didn't rape anyone. He didn't drug anyone. The governor of Tennessee they're not in this big cabal. It's ridiculous. And people blow shit out of proportion all the damn time. Stay grounded. And the best way to stay grounded is to always know who you are. Regardless of your faith, whether you have non-faith, whatever, just know who you are. If you know who you are, then what comes out of those eyes in terms of sight, the mirror to the soul, you're going to see clearly. You're not going to be having to deal with what we see online all the time, and that is simulation, y'all. People are simulating that they've got these incredible lives, that they've got all this and they got all that. And their life is just hunky freaking dory. I mean, it's just everything is just wonderful. It's not, y'all. It's not. It doesn't mean their lives are bad. It just means that everybody's living life. And it really comes down to, what did Angelia Solomon think that was going to happen when she met with this TBI agent and filled this TBI agent's space in his ear with all this bullshit about this big grand conspiracy in Tennessee and how Aaron Solomon did all this bad stuff. And yet here she is telling the TBI agent, well, one way that I can really know that you've done the job is it'll trigger that where Gracie gets her trust fund. And you don't have to get back with me to, or anything. I'll know when that trust fund is triggered, because Aaron will be dead and gone, and Trace and Gracie will get it, and all this and that. Y'all, it is what it is. Oh, he bumped the sound down. Can y'all hear me? This thing right here. I don't know why in the hell I even thought I could do this. Can y'all hear that? Can't you? Ah. Hi, Alpha Fem. How are you? Y'all remember when I first opened the channel, I said 20 or 30 people. That's all I that's all I care about. And it's always been there. I appreciate y'all so much. And again, I apologize. I had it all worked out. I wasn't pretending. I just had a way that I wanted to try to demonstrate the difference between pretending and deception, criminal simulation in general. I'm hoping at least one person on here learns something. I always said that no matter what I do, no matter how much I screw up or whether I do something good, that one person will get something out of it. Look at yourself. Look at your life. You know the answers. You've got the answers. You are the only you you're ever going to be. And apply. Apply simulation to your life. Not simulate nothing, But when you see it, when you see the fakeness, when you see the pretending, when you see the deception, then you can say that you got a little justice through understanding. Thank y'all again for accepting me for who I am, whatever that might mean to you. I love you all. Remember that every year since this channel's been open, OKJ spends Christmas Eve with all the people that are alone. Me and Mr. Wayne is going to have another goofy ass Christmas Eve for everyone, Mom and Pop. I want y'all to know I love you. I hope that some of y'all are really taking this to heart about getting justice through understanding, whether it's through this case or just life itself. So I love you all. Thanks again for being here. Jay Gaz Mom, I hadn't seen you in a while. Jennifer Sukup, Sam Willow, I love you guys. Fancy Nancy, Canyon Jam, Alpha Fem X Team. Oh, Liza Joe, specifically Kathy Mama Bear, thank you so much again for letting me know. I had no idea. I know it must have looked so crazy. What I was trying to do with that song was to pretend. I was pretending that I really understood it and all this and that. And then I was going to go into all that. It was a way for me to figure out in my own way to share with others what pretending, what deception, what simulation, generally speaking, is. And then I was going to go into criminal simulation. So again, it didn't work out the way I wanted, but maybe it worked out for the best. With Opie barking and everything else, OKJ just showed y'all the raw nature, the reality of KJ in the Ray here at my home with my little man. Thank y'all so much for being here. I hope y'all are having a great weekend. Please leave your comments. We are continuing through the Angelia Solomon case. We're going to find out. I believe she'll get a plea agreement by the 12th of January. We'll see. One way or the other, we're going to find out. So with that being said, keep your love in your heart. Keep true to yourself. Know that KJ loves you. That is a reality that nobody can say is not real. Keep on looking.